Some incredible stories are emerging from the chaos at American airports this weekend, caused by Donald Trump's new immigration rules. An Iranian-Canadian citizen, Mohsen Omrani, was flying from Toronto to New Jersey when he was detained. That's when he received unlikely help from a fellow passenger who just happened to be the previous executive director of the New York City Bar Association. Mohsen Omrani and Barbara Berger-Opatowski join us now from New York. Mohsen, I'll begin with you. You're standing in line at Billy Bishop in security, and what are you thinking?
Hi. I was, there were so many news that dual citizens can get in, cannot get in. So I had to change my flight from Monday to Sunday. And I was like, okay, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. And in front of me, there's this great lady in the security line. She apologized for being slow. I told her that, I'm going to be in the airport for the whole day anyway because I'm a dual citizen. And she just started apologizing for the stupid, rules and stuff like that. And I told her it's not her fault, and she broke in tears, and that was so touching, for me. And later, she said, came to my seat in the plane and said, gave me her card and told me that. You know what, and I'm going to wait for you and make sure you go through in the New York airport. That was so amazing. That's why I started tweeting about it.
Barbara, that was very Canadian of you to apologize. What made you step forward?
I think all of us, or many of us in the States now, are just raw with frustration and anger and sadness about what we've been doing as a country. It's something that's inconceivable. And so many of my friends are saying, what can we do? What can we do? How can we change this? And I think part of the answer is if something is right in front of you, it's time to act, even if it's one very small thing. At the time, it didn't occur to me that it was much of anything. It was just something that someone needed to make sure that someone was watching out for them. I'm an American citizen. I'm a lawyer. I can be helpful.
Okay, so tell me what happened when you both arrived in New Jersey. What was the process then, Mohsen?
So I got in the line, and they always take me back for extra questions. I knew that Barbara gets worried, but they took me back, usually it takes 10 minutes. This time it took like 20 minutes. They asked me some extra questions. And at the end, like they said, yeah, there's going to be another team coming to interview. But after a few minutes, another officer came, called me, and said, okay, you're good to go. And he mentioned that there is somebody out there who is really looking after you. She doesn't even know your name, and she's keep asking for you. And, so I was so touched again. I came out, and Barbara was waiting for me. And she said, I already contacted the ACLU head lawyer, and she obviously ruffled some feathers with the officers there.
Okay, Barbara, he was back there in that room getting questioned for 20 minutes. You could have been practically home, I guess, in 20 minutes. What made you stay?
It never occurred to me not to. The only thing that began to concern me as I was talking to the guards and asking whether I could go back in and whether they'd make sure that I would know what was happening. And it occurred to me that I could be aggravating them, too. I mean, sometimes by having somebody there, they could take exception to the fact that they're being scrutinized. But it seems to me, overall, it is much better to have a witness to things that are going on in life than not. So I decided that it was better to wait. I actually felt badly for the guards because I don't think they were properly trained for the situation, and they were inscrutable when I first spoke to them. But when Mohsen came out, I thanked the gentleman who I had been talking to, and I apologized if I'd been a little emotional, because I was emotional twice, not just once. And he said, which I thought was stunning, don't ever apologize for being patriotic. So I think the guards themselves know that they have one role, and we have other roles to make sure that the rights that they're basically guarding people to keep are preserved.
Barbara, at one point, did the guards try to suggest that, okay, you're done, you can go home. You can go home now?
They did not see any reason for me being there. I mean, but I thought that, at the very least, if he wanted to ask for a lawyer, I'd be right there and I could be helpful.
Okay, Mohsen, you mentioned that normally when you go to the United States, sometimes it's 10 minutes that you get questioned. This time it was 20. What did they ask you differently in this instance?
Well, they asked me if I've recently been to Iran, whether I still have my Iranian passport, and they asked me some further questions, about my research and stuff. Usually, because I go every week, they know me there. They don't really ask me any more questions. This time, they wanted to be a little more thorough. So, yeah.
With all due respect to Canada, it seems to me we should be welcoming him into this country. He's a neuroscientist. He can contribute a lot. And you would think the United States would want to give as good a face as possible.
Okay, Mohsen, what happened when you eventually were allowed to enter the United States? What did you walk into? I understand that there was quite a scene at the airport.
Well, actually, there was. I wanted to join a protest if it was anything outside the New York airport. Well, in the New York airport, there was nothing happening, but I knew that there is the No Ban, No Wall protest in New York. So I got on my car and just drove to New York and joined the protest in New York for the No Ball, No Ban in return of, paying homage to what Barbara did for me and, stick out her neck for me. I should have, given back in this way at least.
Barbara, you're going to get the last word here. A lot of people around the world are watching what's going on, especially with this new ban, and saying, what is going on with the United States? What do you think happens with these legal challenges?
I think there are an enormous number of legal issues that are going to be litigated in the coming months, and not just in terms of immigration, but some of the other things. But the reality is I think we need to really be prudent on all fronts. Litigation is one front, but I think demonstrations are appropriate. I think that what we just saw where the Harley-Davidson visit by the president was withdrawn because of the protests, I think we have to look at every avenue we can to make it clear what we care passionately about. There are lots of rights that we fought for in the 60s and 70s. We've seen a slow erosion of those rights. Now we see a tsunami, and we can't let it happen.
Best buddies, Barbara Berger-Opatowski and Mohsen Omrani in New York. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.